We're driving somewhere west of Austin, and we're driving the new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. Coming up, we're gonna give you 2 reasons why we would choose the hybrid version of the Palisade over the gasoline-powered version, and 1 reason why we wouldn't.
But first, here's how much the Palisade costs.
There's real mid-century modern vibes in here with the wood and the fabric, the little touches of metal.
Rounded, kind of soft, stout, but also luxurious feeling.
This material looks like fabric, but it seems like it might still be wipeable and easy to clean. Oops. There's also an exceptional amount of storage in here. 13 cup and bottle holders, a huge space to put a purse, as well as an additional shelf.
I like that this wireless phone charging zone also has a built-in fan to help cool your device. USB-C ports in all 3 rows come standard. And then over here, tell them about the UVC, sweetie.
I can put an object in here, close it, hit this UVC button, and it will sterilize it.
What would you sterilize with your Hyundai Palisade? Tell us in the comments.
There's also a storage nook up here that's really deep and has grippy material so my phone won't go sliding around.
I feel like that's commentary on my driving, but I'm going to blast on past it and note that the seats up here, for me, I'm finding a really good balance between firmness, but also a little bit of give, and also lateral support, but not being too confining.
That is exactly what I was going to say.
Well, good job. We did it. Moving to the second row, I find plenty of space for my average 5'10" frame, long torso, poofy hair. Go to the hybrid versus the standard gasoline-powered version of the Palisade. Because of battery placement, it loses just a little bit of second row legroom. You would never notice that. Behind my ideal front and second row positions, there's plenty of space in the third row. And I really like that the foot-to-butt ratio is not too knee-high. Kiddo, how are you finding second row comfort?
The seats are nice and wide, and they're not so long that it can't touch the ground.
It's tricky when you're a kid because sometimes your thighs aren't as long as the seat bottoms, and then your legs wind up sticking out. So yeah, I see your feet are on the ground. How is it climbing in and out of the Hyundai Palisade?
It's not too big of a step, and you can press a little button that moves the seat I'm currently sitting in out of the way.
Not only does it slide the seat out of the way, but it does this tilt thing. So if you wanted, you could leave a booster seat installed and still gain access to the third row. We've got the power second row seats, and we also have power third row seats. Personally, I prefer manual second row seats with a power release because I'm so patient. Nonetheless, with very little labor, the second row moves out of the way. And what I like is that there's a really wide pass through into that third row space. Climbing aboard, no problem, even for an adult my size. Kiddo, how is it sitting in that middle position?
So if there were no people sitting next to me, it would be fine. But if there was people sitting in both seats next to me, I'd be like, I gotta get out of here.
How would you feel if there were people that you liked on either side of you? Keeping in mind then that I was the person sitting next to you before. Huh. If you get 3 adults wide back there, then it might be a little bit cozy. But if you just throw a bunch of kids back there, I bet that'd work just wonderfully. When you're seated in the third row, sometimes it can feel like a claustrophobic space. There's a pretty good view out, and not only does that mean you don't feel claustrophobic, but also with a better view of your surroundings, you're less likely to be stricken with motion sickness. And as a guy who likes to avoid vomit in his vehicles, that's a real plus. Most versions of the Palisade do have 7 seats with those second row captain's chairs. If you go with the base SE trim, it comes with a second row bench that seats 8 people total. And then you can get that second row bench in a few other trims optionally available. Moving to cargo space, we've got 19.1 cubic feet of space behind the third row. Plenty of room for your adorable child to sit. You may now scamper off into the woods. By size and the segment, that is a little bit smaller than you'd find in the Toyota Grand Highlander, but a little bit larger than you find in the Honda Pilot behind the third row. So it's competitive and ample for a 3-row SUV. Underneath here, we've got a little bit of underfloor storage space. You'll notice that we've got a tire mobility kit. That means there's no spare tire in the hybrid versions. So if you want a spare, get the standard version, or just put a spare on the roof like you're overlanding. But we got a little bit of space to work within the underfloor zone. In our tester, we've got power third row seats, and we can drop those right over here, push the third, and down they go. In all Palisades, Second row seat releases are also included in the cargo area, so you can make this a flat load floor really easily. And actually, that's kind of cool that it's motoring back, so it has enough space to tilt forward. Plenty of space to work with for a 3-row SUV. I would say it's voluminous. And I would also say I did all of that while wearing my Flying Eyes eyewear. They've got patented Brazil-made construction, makes these temples very thin and bendy, perfect under a headset or helmet. If you'd like to support our channel, feel free to check out the link in the description below to learn more about Flying Eyes. And now one more sweet look at all that awesome cargo space. Would you believe it? Look at all that space. Oh, and one optional feature that we have here in our tester is the Smart's Power Lift Gate, where if you just leave the key in your pocket or have your adorable child hold it, it will automatically lift up when you go stand near the back of the vehicle.
Got your key.
Gimme, 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 gimme. Sweetie, what's the car seat situation?
Well, when equipped...
Well, let's dish. So here's something that other reviewers aren't going to tell you about car seats.
I've had too much coffee.
Sorry, carry on.
When equipped with a bench seat, there are 3 top tethers and lower anchors in the outboard positions in the second row, the same in the third row. As for a rear-facing car seat, we did not bring one with us to Texas, but there is a generous amount of space back there.
As for safety, neither the NHTSA nor IIHS have rated the Hyundai Palisade yet for 2026, but we do have a full suite of active driver assist technology, plus 10 airbags standard. Family, what do we think? Is the Hyundai Palisade family friendly?
Family friendly.
Family friendly.
Rear window test. All the way down. Boop. Armrest test. Driving in a comfortable 8 and 4 position, I'm noticing that it's a little bit of a stretch to get my elbows into a comfortable position both inboard and outboard. More vexing to me is that right here where my elbow lands is very hard. If I'm a little bit inboard, it's certainly softer, but right here where the stitching is, where my elbow connects, it's maybe a little too firm for my taste. On the Micah Muzio Fuzzy Bunny armrest test, the Hyundai Palisade rates a 3. Let's move on to In Motion. We're driving the hybrid version of the Palisade, and you're wondering, is that okay, or is it like slow and lethargic? Floored, and we get the power we want promptly. Not only do you get better fuel economy, but you get a noticeable bump in horsepower and torque. And I almost sounded like the straight pipes there for a brief moment, horsepower and torque.
Do I have to grow a mustache now?
I mean, it wouldn't hurt. It seems to be working for the straight pipes. I'm cruising along at 55 miles an hour here, and what I like is that I can ease in and get plenty of gradations between a little bit of power, medium power, and a lot of power. We're gonna floor it from a standstill. Kiddo, count me down.
3, 2, 1.
Floored. Whee! And now what's impressive is that I managed to put the tires in a slight divot there, but we still got moving without any drama. It all feels like it's working with synchronicity. It's a 6-speed automatic transmission versus the 8-speed automatic that's in the ICE version. You might think, oh gosh, there's gonna be bigger gaps, so it's gonna be like, but no, not really. The motor just sort of fills in, and so you don't really notice any lack of ratios. And the transitions between those gear changes are really smooth, almost unnoticeable. There was one moment when I was driving where I was braking and then I wanted to get back on the accelerator quickly, and the transmission wasn't quite sure what to do in that very specific moment. But otherwise, the powertrain has been flawless. Ride quality, it's certainly not rough at all, although it's tough because we are on fairly smooth Texas roads, so I'd love to see how this thing fares at home on our terrible mountain roads. Nonetheless, not too floppy, but certainly plenty plush. Cruising at elevated speeds, it's nice and hushed in here. Hey kiddo, I love you. Oh, good. Aw, she heard me. Part of the hushed vibes here in the Palisade come from standard laminated glass on the front and the front side windows. For customizing a ride, we've got a few different drive modes to play with: Eco, Sport, and My Drive, which is customized. And then in all-wheel drive versions, you've got the terrain modes, which include snow, mud, and sand. You do also have manual control of the transmission with paddle shifters. The other thing I was really curious about with the Palisade Hybrid is the brake feel. I'm gonna find a spot to pull off and slow down, and we'll see if we can complete successfully the Micah Muzio Limo Challenge. Steady, steady, steady. If you try to come to a very, very smooth stop and you ease off the brake, sometimes the creep function comes back in and then it'll start pulling, so it's kind of hard to come to a perfectly smooth stop. If you want to come to a mostly smooth stop, it'll do that all day long. If you want to come to a perfectly buttery smooth stop, that's a little bit trickier. One other challenge in doing a car review in Texas is that there are not a lot of turns, so I'm just going to go back and forth on this tiny little road and note that there's a speedy responsiveness. The steering ratio on the Palisade is fast enough but not too too fast. So very stable at high speeds like on the freeway. And then in the rare corner that you happen to encounter, it turns with, conviction and predictability.
We are getting to experience what this ride's like on a rough road, and it's pleasant.
A little light rumble, but yeah, I think pretty darn sophisticated. That's what I think about driving the Hyundai Palisade. What does Sweetie think? Evie's at the wheel, real quick. Pull this thing out that direction and tell me, how's the steering feel?
It feels nice and light. Whee! Oh, that's nice. I like how speedy that was.
How's visibility working for you?
Visibility is good over my right shoulder, but over my left shoulder, there's a large bead pillar blocking my view.
One cool thing though that we have in the Hyundai Palisade is the ability to see our blind spot in our gauge cluster, depending on the trim. And even if you don't have that, blind spot warning does come standard. Take a turn over here into this like mini storage lot. Just tell me what it feels like turning to the right. Did it turn to the right like you expected?
It did! Now this will be the real test, is doing the turn around.
The turning circle is about 39 feet, which isn't half bad for a 3-row SUV.
Oh, this is going way better than I thought it would.
Oh, and then how about the visibility here with the 360 cam?
There's lots of different angles to look at. Yeah.
Oh look, you're not gonna hit anything.
Hooray! One thing I did note is that the start-stop button is right here on the stock, and would you call that a stock?
I would call it a stock.
Okay, because I used to not like this drive selector, but now I'm fine with it.
Hyundai wore you down?
Yes. This is going so much better than I thought it would for a 3-row SUV. I can find those a little bit intimidating, and this feels great to drive.
If we were in the market for a 3-row midsize SUV, are there any game killers that would keep you from driving a Hyundai Palisade?
No game killers here.
Excellent, I'm getting back in the driver's seat. Moving onward to remarks. Infotainment. There's a standard 12.3-inch screen, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless smartphone connectivity comes standard, as does embedded navigation. If you look here, you got a single pane of glass, and on almost all trims, you get a matching 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster over here. On the base SE trim, you have a 4.2-inch screen, and when you read that, you're like, well, that's going to look terrible. But that's not actually what it is. It's like a little LCD with a TFT display on either side, so it completes the picture. Regardless, whatever version of Palisade you get, this looks nice under that curved pane.
Interfacing with it is great. The icons are all different colors. The menus are laid out in a super logical way that's easy to navigate. We also have physical controls below to operate the infotainment, and HVAC controls below that are capacitive touch as well as physical knobs.
Down here in the climate zone, we've got these capacitive controls, and sometimes these things don't work great. Sweetie, have you had any issue with these capacitive controls?
They work great every time, and I really tried to go sloppy with it, and they worked great.
Well, look out when Sweetie tries to go sloppy, because it could get messy. Moving back to this video's original premise, let me give you 2 reasons why we would choose the hybrid over the standard ICE version of the Palisade, and then 1, why we wouldn't. Reason number 1 why we would, a 15% increase in horsepower and a 27% increase in torque. The other great reason to get the hybrid is cash. Do you like cash? Well, let's talk. Let's figure out how much cash you can save if you go with the hybrid using the power of math. Kiddo, it's your favorite subject, math.
That's my least favorite subject. Wow, so fun.
Great. Okay, so if you look at the combined fuel economy figures for the hybrid versus the ICE version, and then you look at the average number of miles an American drives per year, 14,000, you can figure out how many gallons of fuel each version is going to use on an annual basis. And then, using the average fuel price for regular unleaded, because that is what the Palisade burns, this shows you how much you'd spend on each vehicle on an annual basis. But of course, the Palisade Hybrid costs more than the standard gasoline version, so you have to do a little bit more math to figure out how long would it take to pay back that price premium. The answer, 3.41 years. The average new car these days is owned for 8 years, maybe even longer than that. So yeah, reason number 2, this is a cheaper Palisade to drive as long as you own it for more than 3.5 years. And now one reason why we wouldn't choose the Palisade, it only starts at the SEL trim. That's 1 up from the base trim. So if your budget does not allow for anything above the base trim, then the Palisade Hybrid is not going to be for you. you. But outside of that situation, I think the hybrid's probably the way to go. And now let's take a speedy blast through some notable Palisade features. We have a built-in dash cam. Now it's only included on the highest calligraphy trim. It'll show you the front and rear camera. It saves that information. It's nice embedded into the vehicle. Palisade includes two very family-friendly features standard. There's a passenger talk feature that allows easy communication between front seat passengers and rear seat passengers. We can use that right now by swiping down from the top and activating passenger talk. Child, is my voice being amplified to you?
A little too much.
I'll turn that right off. And then we also have a quiet mode that turns off the rear speakers so you don't bother sleeping children. The hybrid adds a really cool thing called stay mode. It uses the hybrid battery to keep the vehicle powered up so it can keep the air conditioning on and you can kind of hang out without having the engine idle. And what's really cool is if you use the native navigation system and give it a destination, it can automatically make sure that that battery is charged and ready to keep you comfortable when you're parked somewhere. You're going to your kid's soccer game and you want to just hang out in comfort for a while, try stay mode. For 2026, the Palisade can be offered with a factory hitch, and even if you're not planning to tow, you can use that for putting like a bike rack on, which is something I would certainly appreciate. Another feature that's cool for families is you can actually control the rear seat, let's say heating or cooling or whatever, from the controls up here in the infotainment display. If you like the look of the Palisade, but you want to go like kind of a little bit off-road, they do have now an XRT Pro trim, which increases ground clearance by 1 inch. You also have an electronic limited slip differential, and then AT tires, and of course tow hooks that make it look rugged. We have Hyundai's Smart Park Assist, so if you want to get outside of your vehicle and pull it into a tight spot, you can do that remotely, or have your child do it. Oh, and then one complaint. Do you know in Korea they offer a version where this center console flips up and there's a center seat? And they sell it as a 9-passenger Palisade. And what's amazing is that in the Korean market, with 9 seats, you get access to the bus lane.
Ooh.
And now a quick word on style. When the first generation Palisade came out, I wasn't, into it when I first saw it, and then it kind of warmed up to it a little bit. I think this generation is maybe more universally appealing.
I think this looks so cool. How the headlights shape mimics the taillight shape. It's so sleek.
Yeah, I think there's a real interesting modernism, but not like weird. To me, it just looks like sophisticated and intriguing, and I really like it. Of course, feel free to disagree with us in the comment section. And now, let's move on to engine choices. The base engine is a 3.5 liter V6. If you want all-wheel drive, that'll be an extra $2,000. And then there's the 2.5 liter turbocharged hybrid 4-cylinder we've been experiencing. Bigger power, better fuel economy, which varies depending on trim and whether or not you have all-wheel drive. If you want to tow with your Palisade, it maxes out at 5,000 pounds with the ICE version and 4,000 pounds with the hybrid. But without trailer brakes, it maxes out with either at 1,650 pounds for tow.
Sweetie, please share our trim recommendation.
I will. Our trim recommendation is which trim will give you the essential Palisade features you regret not getting, but at the lowest possible price. The base SE gasoline trim includes 3-zone climate control, front and rear parking sensors, and smart key access. It absolutely does get the job done. But since it's only $2,500 extra, we'd recommend the SEL trim, which adds a power hands-free liftgate, leatherette seating, 8-way power front seats, that 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, a radar-based rear occupant alert system, and Hyundai digital key that lets you unlock and start your vehicle with your smartphone. One big competitor for the Palisade is the Toyota Grand Highlander, which offers better fuel economy for less money, but also has less power. Then there's also the Honda Pilot, the Mazda CX-90, and the Palisade's platform mate, the all-new 2027 Kia Telluride. Did we miss any remarks? If so, tell us in the comments section. And now it's our daughter's time to shine. Child, can you tell us what is your favorite feature in the Hyundai Palisade?
I really like the relaxation mode. You just press a button on the side of your seat and it goes like whoop.
And if you're in the front seats, that relaxation mode also includes like a little support for your upper leg region. And yeah, if you just want to like take a moment out of your otherwise insane life, well, that's a great way to do it. Family, I think we've done a good job reviewing the Hyundai Palisade somewhere west of Austin. May I have a 5 and 5 and you. I'm stopped, so I'm just going to really come in for it. Come get your high five. Boop! And now please enjoy our AI-generated synopsis song about the Hyundai Palisade.
Cruising in my Palisade, it's smooth as can be. Hybrid engine hums, saving cash for me. No more high gas prices, I'm grinning with glee. V6 days are gone, now I'm feeling so free. It's a money saver, rolling on the road. Palisade's the ride. my